As March gets going, the soil warms up and so does the pace in the veg garden. But don't be fooled, as we can still get some really bitter cold weather at this time of year, so only sow the hardiest veg outdoors. However, in the greenhouse there's plenty you can get sowing to make a great start to the veg growing year. In February we planted an early variety of potato in a pot for growing in the greenhouse. The plant's now emerged and so it's time to cover it up with some more compost. These are the carrots that we sowed in February. Now carrots can be a bit nerve-wracking to sow as they take a few weeks to come up, but as you can see in the end they get there. They don't need any thinning out though, as what will happen is the carrots will sort of push each other apart and make room to grow. Sow brassicas in the greenhouse now or in a sheltered spot outdoors. It's best to use 7cm pots or modular trays. Now you'll find that brassicas tend to be F1 hybrids nowadays and so they're a bit expensive. However, if you reseal the packets, you can use them again next year. Sow lettuce in pots every 2 or 3 weeks from March onwards. I recommend only sowing about 5 to 10 plants at a time. Then you've got the plants ready and waiting in the greenhouse to fill any gaps that appear in the vegetable garden so you're never without a crop. By sowing only about 5 to 10 plants at a time, you'll find you have a much more manageable amount of lettuce and you're much less likely to get gluts. Put 2 or 3 seeds in each module. Then cover the seeds with a little bit of compost, not too deep. Then label them with the variety so you remember which one it is and pop them into your propagator. In a few weeks' time you'll have little seedlings like this. These are still too young to go outside. We're waiting for the true leaves to emerge from the centre there and for them to be just a little bit bigger before they're ready to go outside into the garden or even in ornamental pots or flower borders. Now these are the courgette plants that I sowed back in February. If you remember, I sowed 2 seeds in a pot and now's the time to take out this weaker seedling to give this big one more room to grow. In February we sowed some early salads. As you can see, you can do it in a pot and this is a mixed variety of different salads here. Or if you've got a greenhouse border, it's a lovely way to get a sneaky crop in at the early part of the year. Here we've sown single varieties of salads and they'll be ready to harvest in the next few weeks and so we'll get a great crop before the tomatoes are ready to go in late April, early May. I like to sow my tomatoes for growing in the greenhouse in March, as I find if I grow them any earlier they'll get tall and leggy. I'll wait until April though for sowing the tomatoes that go outside. You may be tempted by adverts for grafted plants, but at Witch Gardening we don't think they're worth the expense. You'll pay as much as £5 per plant for a grafted one, while a packet of seeds will cost you just about £2 for 50. However, we did find that grafted cucumber plants are worth the expense if you grow cucumbers in the same spot year after year, as grafted plants are less likely to succumb to root rots. These are the broad beans that we started off in the greenhouse last month. They've made good progress and are ready to plant out. You could sow a second batch directly into the soil now as well, but unless your soil is particularly well drained, you're probably better off sowing those in pots too. Put in the plants at around 15 to 20 centimetres apart. If you've got enough plants for more than one row, put the rows 25 centimetres apart if you don't need to walk between the rows, or 45 centimetres apart where you do want to walk between the rows. In March you can start off some new herbs. Tender ones such as coriander and basil can be grown in the greenhouse, but hardy ones such as parsley can go directly where you're going to be growing them outdoors. You might have heard that parsley can be tricky to grow from seeds. When Witch Gardening trialled different methods of sowing veg outdoors, we had most success when we covered the seed drill with clear plastic, pinned down at the edges. This consistently gave the quickest and most successful germination. Keep an eye out on the bed and remove the plastic as soon as the seedlings appear to avoid cooking them. These are the peas that we started off in the greenhouse in February. And now's the time to plant them out. Make a trench that's the same depth and length as the gutter. To get the peas from the gutter into the trench, you might need to give them a little bit of a shake. Once they're in, draw the soil around the roots and water them in. Don't forget to include some supports for your peas so they've got something to hold on to as they grow. Traditional twiggy sticks are ideal because when the peas have finished cropping later on, you can just chuck the supports in with the compost too. Try to match the height of the support to the height of the variety you've chosen to grow. Put the pea sticks along the length of the row so they'll support the plants as they grow. Start off another row of peas from seed at the same time. They'll be ready about 3 or 4 weeks after the ones from the guttering. Plant early and second early varieties of potatoes from mid-March outdoors or up until mid-April in colder areas. We've had these on the windowsill in the house and you can see that they've started into growth, so they're ready to get going. Plant the seed potatoes 15 centimetres deep with the majority of the small shoots facing upwards. The rows should be about 45 centimetres apart. Apply a mulch of well-rotted compost. The worms will drag it into the soil themselves and also it will go in when you're earthing up the potatoes. Potato foliage is very sensitive to frost. You'll be covering it up as the potatoes grow as you earth them up with soil. But when you finish doing the earthing up, it's a good idea to have some garden fleece handy so you can cover up the foliage if a ground frost is predicted. Shallots have a sweeter taste than onions. They may cost more to start with, but they'll store for ages. Plant the shallots roughly 25 centimetres apart in rows that are 40 centimetres apart. Plant them so the tops are just under the soil surface to stop birds from pulling up the sets. Alternatively, sow banana shallots from seed. It's a lot cheaper doing it this way and each plant should bulk up and make a single large bulb. Start the seed off in early March in the greenhouse in a modular tray and they should be ready for planting outside in late April. A good tip is to invest in a soil thermometer as it will let you know when the soil is ready to sow in. Put it a few centimetres deep into the ground in the early morning and when the temperature is consistently above about 5 degrees, then it'll be safe to sow some hardier vegetables like carrots, radish and lettuce. That should be enough to keep you busy for now, but don't forget to come back in April when the longer days and warmer temperatures mean there's even more we can be planting and sowing outside.